Kumusta mga schoolmates? Ready na ba kayong sumama sa bago nating learning adventure?
Ako super ready na. By the way, ako si Mindmover Abby. I'm a biologist. I love the things you cannot see with the naked eye. There are tiny worlds around us, and I love to explore all of them. When it comes to the microscopic things, you can count on me.
Ako naman si Mindmover Aaron. I'm also a biologist. Paborito ko ang mga living thing na kung minsan mas malaki pa kaysa sa atin. From the tallest trees to the tiniest insects, basta't hindi kailangan ng microscope, game ako dyan.
We are resident scientists at the Mind Museum at excited na kaming i-share ang aming love for biology.
We will be your guides for this season of mindscool Online.
Together, we will explore life in all of its shapes, sizes, and forms.
We'll look into what makes living things, well, alive.
We'll explore the wonders of life, from how living things digest food to how we can better take care of ourselves and the world we live in.
Pag-uusapan din natin ang iba't ibang klase ng living things, kagaya ng mga halaman na kayang gumawa ng sarili nilang pagkain, mikrobyo na hindi nakikita ng ating mga mata, at mga protists na hindi hayop, hindi halaman at hindi rin fungi.
At syempre, hindi natin pwedeng kalimutan ang interactions ng living things sa tubig, lupa, at iba pang non-living things. Throughout this journey, Aaron and I will show you just why we are so in love with the study of life. By the end of our journey, we hope you'll fall in love with it too.
Abby, ano pala to?
Ito? It's the Wonder Box. Ito ang ating guide as we explore the wonders of the living world.
Sosyal! So ano mga laman niya?
Iba-iba, depende sa ating adventure. Every episode will have a different set of items to guide us in our exploration.
Taray! Patingin nga anong laman niya ngayon?
Item number 1 is a checklist.
Para sa checklist na yan?
Kung mag-alala, Aaron, mamaya malalaman natin kung anong ibig sabihin ng bawat isang bagay dito.
Exciting naman! Tignan nga natin yung item number 2. May closet?
Yup! Item number 3 is clock.
So our 3 items for this week are number 1, checklist, number 2, a closet, and number 3, a clock.
We will use these items to explore the question, ano nga ba ang buhay? How can you say that something is alive or not?
Speaking of things that are alive, I hope we can explore how we group living things. Learning the ways organisms are classified is one of my favorite subjects.
Certain, because we'll explore that too. Hindi lang yan. Aalamin din natin paano nagbabago ang anyo ng organisms sa paglipas ng panahon.
My gosh, I can't wait to begin our adventure. I hope you are too. Samahan nyo kami!
Hi Aaron! Buhay ka ba?
Buhay na buhay. Bakit mo naman natanong, Abby?
Well, I'm using item number 1 from the Wonder Box. Look, it's a checklist for life.
Ooh, di ba ito yung mga katangian na taglay ng lahat ng living things?
Oo, so kung buhay ka, check ka sa lahat ng yan. Based on what science knows now, these are what makes something alive.
That's true. Pero wag natin kalimutan na with all the forms of life out there, we've still got a lot to uncover.
Oo nga. After all, science is an ongoing process of discovery. It's amazing that scientists found a handful of traits shared by all living things, mula sa maliliit na mikrobyo hanggang sa pinakamalaking balyena.
Ang galing, no? Sige nga, let's see the first item on that list. Sabi dito, ang una ay organization and growth. Oo nga, no? Organize sa mga living things kagaya natin. Meron akong head, shoulders, knees, tsaka toes.
Tama! Isa yan sa mga levels of organization ng life. Ito ang complete list of the levels. Tingnan natin ang haribon o Philippine Eagle para mas maintindihan natin kung anong ibig sabihin nito. Kagaya ng lahat ng may buhay, ang Philippine Eagle ay binubuo ng atoms.
Kagaya ng oxygen. Oxygen is also part of the water molecule, and water molecules are found in cells, like a heart cell.
Yup! And heart cells form heart tissues. The heart tissues work together to build an organ, the eagle's heart.
Oh yeah! And the heart is part of the circulatory system. Tapos may iba't ibang klase ng organ systems pa na bumubuo sa ating Philippine Eagle.
Pero tingnan mo, ang bato at ang ibang non-living things ay walang ganitong pagkakaayos.
Ibang level pala talaga ang organization of life, no?
Yup! And aside from being organized in this special way, living things also grow.
Speaking of growth, ikaw ba to, Abby?
Hala, saan mo nakuha yan? Balik mo!
The Wonder Box gave it to me. I guess the box heard that we were talking about growth. Huwag kang mag-alala, Abby. Cute ka naman as a baby.
Thanks! By the way, the levels of organization are connected to growth.
Oo nga, no? pag lumaki tayo, hindi yun dahil lumalaki ang cells natin. Our cells divide and multiply to give us bigger muscles, bones, and other organs.
At hindi sila dumarami ng basta-basta lang. They multiply in very special ways that keep our insides organized.
Item number 1? Check! May 3 items pa sa checklist. Ano yun next?
Metabolism and homeostasis.
Metabolism. So related siya sa eating and exercising.
Yup! Homeostasis means that everything that's going on inside you is in balance.
Alam mo, napapansin ko yan sa body temperature ko. Kapag mainit or malamig yung panahon, my body still maintains a temperature of around 37 degrees Celsius.
Totoo! Kasi kahit hindi natin nakikita, maraming nangyayari sa loob ng katawan natin bawat oras. Our bodies continuously build up and break down the stuff that it needs.
This is because too little or too much of a good thing is bad for living things. It's always important to strike a balance between the different processes. Okay, so let's go to the third item on our checklist. Response? Ito yung pag-react ng mga living things sa nangyayari sa paligid nila, di ba?
Yes! In science, we call the thing that organisms respond to as a stimulus. Ang stimulus ay kahit anong pagbabago na nangyayari sa loob at labas ng organism.
Uy, may naisip ako example. Kapag kasi malamig yung panahon, nanginginig yung katawan ko. So the cold temperature is the stimulus and then yung panginginig ko is the response.
That's a good example. And it's not just people. Ang lahat ng living things ay kayang respond sa mga stimulus, pati mga halaman.
Oo nga, parang makahiya. Di ba tumitiklop yung mga dahon niya kapag nadidikit siya sa ibang bagay?
True that! Ginagawa nito ng makahiya para protektahan ang sarili niya.
Another way plants respond to a stimulus is when they grow towards a light source. Kung may mga halaman kayo sa loob ng bahay, baka napapansin yung tumutubo silang nakaharap or papalapit sa ilaw. That's because plants need light in order to survive.
Ang galing, no? Kung iisipin mo, halos lahat pala ng ginagawa natin araw-araw ay pag-respond sa mga stimulus.
3 down. We have one last item on our checklist. We have reproduction and evolution.
Do you look exactly like your parents, Aaron?
May hawig kami, but we don't look exactly alike.
Isn't it amazing that even though we came from our parents, we don't look exactly like them?
It's related to how living things reproduce, di ba?
That's right. Some organisms, kagaya nating mga tao, kailangan ng partner to make a child or offspring. When this happens, genetic materials from parents get mixed. That's why children don't look exactly like their parents.
That's why your height and your straight hair may have come from your mom, while your skin tone and the shape of your eyes came from your dad.
Exactly. Pero ang ibang living things, hindi kailangan ng partner to reproduce. Kaya nila itong gawin mag-isa.
Parang bacteria. When a bacterium reproduces, it simply splits into 2 new bacteria.
Yes! At dahil walang nangyayaring mixing ng genetic materials from 2 different organisms, exact copy ng unang bacterium ang dalawang bagong bacteria.
This is a very useful checklist, Abby. Kung gusto mo malaman kung buhay ang isang bagay, gagamitin mo lang ang listahan na to.
It is right. For something to be alive, they need to pass the test of these 4 items.
Paano kung isa or dalawa lang ang meron ng isang bagay?
Isipin mo ang virus. These things are organized the same way we are. Atoms come together to form molecules, and the molecules combine to form the virus. But viruses don't grow, they don't respond to stimuli, and they cannot reproduce on their own. Kailangan pa nilang pumasok at gamitin ang cells ng living things para magparami.
Kaya pala hindi mo masasabing buhay ang mga virus.
Natutupoy ka pa rin, Aaron?
Oo, mahilig kasi talaga akong mag-organize at mag-arrange. That's why I got really excited when I learned why our second item is a cabinet.
Oh, bakit nga ba cabinet ang item number 2 from the Wonder Box?
Ang second adventure kasi natin is about how living things are arranged.
Pero diba, hindi naman living thing ang damit. They don't pass the test based on our checklist.
Tama ka naman, but organizing both your clothes and the organisms around us work the same way. Once everything's sorted properly, we can easily see what traits they have in common and what makes them different.
Oo nga, no? You really do like organizing stuff, don't you, Aaron?
Sobra! Now with the help of this cabinet, we can see how living things are organized into groups. Ano kayang nasa loob ng box number 1? May aso!
Well, dogs are part of Kingdom Animalia, right?
Ay, oo nga. Animals are one of the most recognizable kingdoms of life. Most members of this kingdom move around a lot, mainly because they need to look for food to eat.
At magkakaiba sila ng itsura, no? It's mind-boggling to think that corals and humans are both animals.
Nakakagulat, hindi ba? Kingdom Animalia shows the highest forms of differentiation or pagkakaiba-iba within its members. And as we'll see later, ang mga cell nila walang walls. Malalaman natin sa susunod na episode why this is important.
I wonder what's inside box number 2. Ooh, it's a plant!
What made you say that this is a plant?
Well, it's not moving, unlike me and you.
That's a good observation. Ang dahilan kaya ang members ng Kingdom Plantae ay hindi nakakasayaw at nakakapaglakad ay dahil ang cells nila ay may cell walls. Gaya ng mga pader ng bahay natin, ang walls ng plant cells provide structure and makes them rigid and hard.
Buti na lang may pambawi sila for that. Some trees can grow taller than buildings.
Ang galing, no? Yan ay dahil may part sa mga halaman na hindi tumitigil sa paglaki.
Ang galing naman! Ano pa ba ang ibang natatanging characteristics ng mga halaman?
Ang isa sa favorite kong ability nila ay kaya nilang gumawa ng sarili nilang pagkain.
That ability is related to their green color leaves, right?
That's right. Sa loob ng cells ng mga dahon, may mga green parts called chloroplast. It allows them to produce their own food.
Oh, so that's why they're called producers.
Correct ka dyan! Chloroplast helps them produce their own food by harnessing energy from the sun. This process is called photosynthesis.
Okay, so we have an animal in the first box, a plant in the second box. I wonder what's inside box number 3.
Sa loob ng box number 3, meron tayong mushrooms at, yeast?
Yes, they're both members of Kingdom Fungi. Like plants, they also have cell walls, but it is made from a different material.
Totoo bang mga patay na bagay ang kinakain nila?
Tama! Unlike plants, fungi cannot make their own food, and they cannot hunt or catch food like animals. So they break down and take in the stuff that's around them.
Kaya pala tinatawag din natin silang decomposers.
Now for box number 4. Oh hey, it's a yogurt drink!
Thanks. What group of organisms does this represent?
Hello, lactobacillus!
Bacteria. Lactobacillus helps with digestion, right?
Tama! Pero hindi lang digestion may role ang bacteria. They're practically everywhere. At kahit na napakaliit ng bacteria, napakalaki ng ginagawa nila para sa mundo.
Oo nga, bacteria are certainly fascinating organisms. Can you think of other things that make them special?
Another kingdom of bacteria, called ARCHAEBACTERIA, can actually live in extreme environments. Nabubuhay sila sa mga lugar na sobrang init, sobrang lamig, at sobrang alat. Ilan lang ang mga ito sa mga extreme na lugar kung saan nila kayang mabuhay.
Oh, no wonder they're called extremophiles. Talk about independence.
Yes, they're also fascinating in other ways. For example, their walls are made of materials that are different from the walls of plants and fungi. Some of their components can also contribute to making other organisms sick.
Bacteria are definitely amazing creatures, but there's another box we haven't opened yet. What could be a living thing that's not an animal, not a plant, a fungi, or bacteria?
Let's find out.
Box number 5 has... nori!
Are we making sushi?
Well, we can make that for lunch later. Alam mo ba kung bakit nori ang ginamit natin to represent the last group of living things?
It's because nori is a seaweed, right?
That's right. But even though seaweed looks like a plant, it's actually a member of this last group.
Oh, wait. I think I know this. This is part of the protist group, right?
That's right. Protists are actually composed of organisms na mukhang halaman, mukhang animal, or mukhang fungi.
But they're not any of those.
Tama. Other protists include amoeba that looks like a bacterium, algae that looks like plants, and slime molds that look like fungi.
These organisms under protists are lumped together but have a wide range of characteristics.
That's why we can't say any longer that they're a kingdom. Even so, the creatures classified as protists are still really cool organisms.
Wow! I had so much fun learning about the different characteristics of each kingdom. But Aaron, how did these kingdoms evolve to become what they are today?
Magandang tanong yan, Abby. Baka ang ating third item holds the clue. Ano nga ulit yun?
It's a clock! But what exactly does this mean, Aaron?
Well, usually, sinasabi sa atin ng orasan ang paglipas ng araw day by day. But if we zoom out, ang daming nagbabago kapag libu-libong taon na ang pinag-uusapan natin. As hundreds, thousands, or even millions of years go by, organisms continue to change to become what they are today.
Wow! But how exactly do they change, Aaron?
Simulan natin sa kung anong alam natin dati. We first thought that organisms change dahil sa tinatawag nating use and disuse. Have you wondered why giraffes we know today have long necks?
Noong bata ako, sabi sa akin ng parents ko, dati raw, maiksi lang ang leg ng mga giraffe. They would stretch their necks to reach the leaves that are high up the tree. At dahil palagi nila itong ginagawa, their short necks were disused. And later on, all the giraffes had useful long necks.
Yan din ang sabi ni John Baptiste de Lamarck dati. Pero ang idea niya ay napalitan ng mas tamang understanding of how living things change. This is Charles Darwin. He proposed a similar theory with the ideas placed the other way around. Sabi niya, pareho raw merong short and long-necked giraffes noon. Dahil marami sa kinakain nila ay nasa matataas na puno, hindi ito maabot ng mga short-necked giraffes and that's why they died out.
Dahil mga long-necked giraffes na lang ang nag-survive, sila ang mga nakapagparami. Kaya puro long-necked giraffes na lang ang nakikita natin ngayon. Ang galing! Kahit hindi natin ito nakikitang nangyayari, organisms existing today continue to change in order to survive. Not only do they become better fit to their environment, but their physical appearance will also change as time passes.
This season's art cart will be focusing the lens on the visual arts. Paintings, sculptures, even yarn and origami-based works. But it doesn't stop there. All the artworks this season are nature-inspired. Nature itself may be their subject or its many forms creatively take shape in their work. Let's start off our nature-inspired art cart adventure with works that evolve over time. Just like how evolution created faster, better, and stronger organisms, creating art takes practice over time. Even individual works themselves could change a lot. From right here at the mindscool HQ, let's meet digital artist IJ Cacnio.
Hi guys, I'm IJ and I'm a motion graphics artist. I do 2D flat animations and sometimes do 3D art as well. So nagsimula ako way back nung high school pa ako. Na-discover ko tong program na tinatawag na Adobe After Effects. Itong After Effects naman was geared towards video effects. Yung mga unang videos ko ay shoot ko lang sa bahay namin. Nilagyan ko siya ng effects na lightning, nilagyan ko siya ng effects na meron akong hawak na Rasengan. Yung mga effects na yun natutunan ko lang sa mga tutorials sa YouTube. And up until now, I am self-taught. Masasabi ko yung artwork ko throughout the years is just a timestamp of what I was interested in, what I feel, what I was inspired, what I consumed online. Locally, ang pinaka-fan talaga ako when it comes to motion graphics dito sa Pilipinas is yung ACIDHOUSE Productions. Every new project that they make is very different and the attention to detail nila is so spot on. Ang mga colors na ginagamit ko ay palaging vibrant, punchy, na sa colors pa lang kahit i-pause mo yung video at i-blur out mo yung image, maganda siyang tignan. After kong makahanap ng inspiration online, what I do is to put it down on a note-taking app. And once I get a good idea, dun ko na iniisip kung paano ko siya i-execute. How does this animation work? Ano yung unang mangyari? How does this process work? Anong gagamitin kong software for it? And once na nasa workstation na ako, doon na magsisimula yung mismong actual work. So once I finish yung mismong 2D layout, I'll then transfer it to another program for animation. Is it smooth enough? Maganda ba yung animation? Sakto lang ba yung bilis niya? Or masyado bang dragging? And once na okay na lahat ng animations, doon ko naman i-tweak kung okay na ba yung colors ko, maganda na ba siya, vibrant ba siya. So my favorite part in creating art is pag nakita ko na yung final output na nag-animate from the first frame up to the very last frame. Very satisfying feeling. May times naman na nasa workstation na ako pero wala akong maisip na gawin or meron man akong maisip hindi ko naman siya may execute. I usually take a break first, a break that doesn't include any editing, any creating, any animation. After an hour or so, pagbalik ko sa workstation, yun, may idea na ako ulit, or alam ko na kung ano yung pinaka-hindrance ko doon sa gusto kong goal na art. Or what I do is, I do everything again from scratch. And minsan, mas maganda pa yung new idea ko kesa dun sa old idea. My advice for young aspiring artists is to create something new. It may be monthly, weekly, or if kaya mo, daily din. And by doing this, you're giving yourself a small step upwards. Adding those small steps will lead you towards becoming better at your craft.
Today, we've seen that we can determine living things based on only 4 characteristics from our checklist. Kahit na mukhang maiksi at simple lang ang ating listahan, it is a complex process that took hundreds of millions of years to develop and to get to where we are today.
We also saw that living things can be organized into groups called kingdoms, but some organisms don't fit neatly into these groups. Pinapakita lang nito kung gaano karami at iba't iba ang living things.
Learning about the different versions of life will help us appreciate how important every living thing is. Lahat tayo ay may roles na ginagampanan. Lahat tayo ay nakadepende sa isa't isa at sa ating environment para patuloy na mabuhay.
We have the responsibility of ensuring that all living things live in their proper habitats and that these places are kept healthy and thriving. Let's reduce the waste we produce and try to avoid activities that contribute to the destruction of their homes. We cannot conserve what we do not know. So let's continue educating ourselves about life in its many forms and sizes.
Finally, natutunan natin na nagbabago ang mga living things sa paglipas ng panahon. Nakadepende ang survival ng lahat ng living things sa mga katangiang namamana natin from our parents. The ways organisms look and behave today are a result of the many changes that we have all undergone.
Pero wag nating kalimutan na nagbabago pa rin tayo hanggang ngayon. Evolution is still happening today. We are not yet the final form of human beings. I wonder what humans will look like in the future.
Thanks for joining us for today's nature adventure. Be sure to check out the activities and experiment guides that come with this episode.
For a more in-depth look at our featured artist this week, check out the art guide. Kita-kits ulit tayo dito sa Mindscool Online, where learning leads to a better normal.